This situation just got crazier. We get into exactly what I'm talking about in this edition of Ducks Digest. Hey, this is Mike Nelson. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I want to thank the 19% of you, the ones who are watching these videos who have already hit the sub button, but 81% of you, what's going on? Hit that subscribe button. We're the newest Anaheim Ducks YouTube channel, bring you everyday Ducks content. Been a Ducks fan since 2003, so help out a fellow Anaheim Ducks fan and hit that subscribe button. It's going to be a super fun season, and right now we have a lot to talk about, of course, with Mason McTavish. Yeah, Mason McTavish, the Ducks have yet to sign him. It's been a long thing that's been going on here with the Ducks. We've been debating whether the Ducks are going to trade him or not. It's been a long odyssey that we've been kind of dealing with here with Mason McTavish. And, the real question is what exactly is going on, right? I mean, does McTavish and his agent want more money and the Ducks are just being cheap and don't want to pay him? Or are the Ducks seriously considering just moving on from McTavish altogether by trading him? So today there was an article posted on NHLRumors.com kind of talking about why Mason McTavish continues to be in the trade rumor mill as the days go along. These rumors are not going away, right, about McTavish being traded. So why has McTavish been in the rumor mill? This is from Sportsnet. They did a little podcast. Josh, Elliott, Wolf, and Mike Halford discussed Mason McTavish and why there is trade speculation involving the player. And Halford said, so Josh, I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but yesterday concerning this, Ben Kuzma, like we talked about here on the show, Ben Kuzma of the Province had a fairly lengthy piece talking about the prospect of Vancouver acquiring Mason McTavish. The Vancouver Canucks, another team that's been kind of been thrown in there, right? We might be onto something here in these dog days this summer, right? So there's definitely something going on with Mason McTavish. There's definitely movement in the last few days. I think the trade rumors have kind of been going up. There hasn't been a lot of rumors on the Ducks and McTavish negotiating a contract, which is a little bit concerning, right? Because there hasn't really been any insider out there outside of, Ryan Strome that talked a little bit about, McTavish coming to the Ducks, or, he thinks there's going to be a deal done. One of the Ducks players said that. But I'm talking about one of the good insiders, one of the top insiders in the NHL, the guys that always are breaking the news. None of those guys are saying that the Ducks and McTavish are working out a contract or they're close to a deal. Nobody's saying that. So that is something to keep in mind. Instead, everybody's saying that the Ducks seem to be exploring trade options for McTavish, right? That's been what's been going on the last few days. It seems like that continues, right? Elliot Wolf says, I do think out of all the names that have come up with realistic possibilities, not that it might not be super realistic, but it does feel kind of realistic. Mason McTavish has been the most intriguing name to me. That is what Elliot Wolf said, saying that Mason McTavish is probably the most intriguing name out there when it comes to trade rumors right now in the NHL, which is something that Ducks fans don't want to hear, because I know a lot of teams would love to have Mason McTavish, right? I think it's obvious that Mason McTavish has caught the eye of many teams. It's not like there's no interest for McTavish. There's been a lot of teams that seems to be inquiring for Mason now that the Ducks and McTavish are not really signing a contract. It seems like the last few days and weeks there has been a lot of interest from around the league. It's July 25th now. Think about it. It's been a few weeks now of this going on. So this has not been like something that's been just going on for a couple days. This has been going on for weeks, and the Ducks and McTavish still have no deal. So yeah, that's the question. Are the Ducks actually working out a trade for McTavish? Are they actively talking to these teams and just basically working out the details for what would be a massive trade for the organization, right? It would be a big decision for Verbeek and the Ducks. Halford talked a little bit more about Verbeek, saying Verbeek didn't draft Trevor Zegras, right? Didn't draft McTavish. He didn't draft Zegras. And I just wonder to sort of rebuild that franchise and trying to take the step forward. There's a bit of a clean slate mentality, right? It seems like Verbeek wants to clean house and get rid of everything that, Murray left the Ducks. It seems like that's what Verbeek is doing. He's just trying to clean up everything that Murray left with the Ducks. And that is, of course, something that's a bit concerning because he drafted McTavish, right? Murray did draft McTavish. So perhaps he's not enamored with the guys he inherited from the draft. Maybe it's McTavish and Zegras, and he thinks, I can't win with these guys. I can't make the playoffs. I can't win with them, and I firmly believe I'm not going to be able to win with these guys. Maybe I need to sell as high as humanly possible, right? And that could be what, McTavish and Verbeek, that's what Verbeek could be thinking, right? Especially on a guy like McTavish, because the return would be pretty massive. I think McTavish's name, the identity, I'm going to be dead honest, what he did with the World Junior team, I think that still resonates big time with a lot of people, even though it was a few years. I wonder if there's something that a team that has enough assets can jump on. And, of course, like I said, McTavish is a player that I think a lot of teams, I was a little bit surprised. I don't know what everybody thinks out there when this whole, situation started with McTavish. I'm a bit surprised that there was this much interest from around the NHL for McTavish, right? I mean, I thought there would be less interest. I didn't think there would be this much because it seems like there's been at least 4 or 5 concrete teams that have had high interest in McTavish, right? The Vancouver Canucks, the Philadelphia Flyers, the Detroit Red Wings, the Calgary Flames, and the Montreal Canadiens. It seems like all these teams have solid interest in McTavish, and if he does get traded, it's probably going to be to one of these 5 teams, right? Because I have not heard any other team that, unless there's a dark horse out there that's going to come out of nowhere and trade for McTavish. But out of all these teams, it seems like, that is one of these teams is a realistic destination for McTavish if he does get traded, right? Out of all of them, it seems like one of those is going to be the team. And now the question is, which team do the Ducks want to trade with, right? I mean, do they really want to trade with the Calgary Flames, a team that's in the same division as the Ducks, a player that you will probably play in the playoffs if eventually Calgary makes the playoffs and the Ducks make the playoffs? Do you really want to trade McTavish there? Or do you want to trade McTavish to an East Coast team, the Montreal Canadiens, the Detroit Red Wings, for example, teams that are in the other conference, teams you don't have to worry about very much during the regular season, only play them 2 times a year. You don't even play them in the playoffs either unless you make the Stanley Cup Finals. So I think the Ducks, if they decide to trade McTavish, it's not going to be to a West Coast team. I mean, look what they did with Trevor Zegras and Jamie Drysdale. They traded him all the way to Philadelphia, team in the Eastern Conference, and that's probably what the Ducks are going to be shooting for if they decide to trade McTavish, which is going to be, like I said, probably the biggest decision Verbeek has to make as GM so far. It has to be, right? Because McTavish, out of the 3 guys I mentioned, out of Jamie Drysdale, out of Trevor Zegras, and now Mason McTavish, who do you think out of those 3 is probably going to be the best player? It's probably McTavish, right? Out of those 3 guys, probably McTavish is the only real star in the NHL that's going to be, like I said, a household name in the NHL in a couple years. Do the Ducks want to trade that away to get more young assets? Because they're not going to get an NHL-ready star if they trade McTavish. They're just not. I mean, there was that rumor about Rickard Rakell, but I don't really buy it. I don't think the Ducks will get that kind of player. They're going to get prospects, right? And at this point, I think the Ducks are too close to the playoffs to be making these sort of deals. And they got to just sign McTavish, give him what he wants, and try to work forward to make the playoffs next season. As always, make sure to subscribe, and let's go Ducks. Woo!